Hello again, everyone. Your Hollywood Progressive team here to talk to you today about a play we saw this last weekend called Freight, the Five Incarnations of Abel Green. This play stars J. Alphonse Nicholson, who shapeshifts through five versions of an African American everyman over a span of 1 century, moving from a 1913 Black minstrel through faith healing preacher in the 30s, an FBI Black Panther informant in the 60s, all the way to a Black exploitation actor who disses a friend with AIDS in the 80s, ending with a homeless man in 2010. This play runs through December 16th, and I think you'll hear from the three of us that it's worth going to see if you have the time. Sharon, did you want to talk to us a little bit about your thoughts?
Yes, man, I just thoroughly enjoyed the 90 minutes or so that we spent at the Fountain Theater. And a shout out for the Fountain Theater because they just never disappoint. Um, this play does an extremely effective job at many things. For one, this is a one-man show. There is a woman who makes brief appearances, but she doesn't have a speaking role, and she really is helping him with the with the tools, the what do you call it?
The transitions.
Yeah, the transitions, and she does a beautiful job, and she definitely adds value. But the speaking part is really just one person, and like Nia said, the play takes you through 5 decades of a Black American man. And what I found especially appealing was that it helps you to see, to understand some of the factors that have led to the Black man's oppression. It starts off in the 1910s with these two Black minstrels. Now, like I said, this is a one-man performance, a one-man play. So the second man is only spoken of, but the Black man who is doing the performing speaks of himself and his partner. They performed in blackface, and Dick is chuckling, and that can be funny. But what you learn is that they witness a lot of terrible things, including a lynching. Their lives, the lives of Black people during this period in history, the year was 1913. My own grandmother was living then, and she was born in Durham, North Carolina. And I remember as a child, I was her first grandchild, first of 11. I remember as a child her talking about the horrors of the South. And so this young man, just sees Black men lynched, parts of their bodies chopped off. They have very hard time finding work. And he makes a deal. He makes a deal to do something that is demeaning to Black people, but he finds a way to make a living. And it helps you to understand how few choices there were. Dick, I'm going to hand this over to you, and maybe we'll go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I was blown away by this play. The actor J. Alphonse Nicholson won awards for this play a few years ago on the East Coast. So this is a reprise of the play, a debut on the West Coast. It's a marvelous performance, and it does show. It really investigates the plight of the Black man in various phases in society. In each case, he's getting the short end of the stick and having to make compromises and losses that a person would rather not do. I wanted to pick up on something Neil was talking about, or maybe anyway, the stagehand. The attention this play plays to details. As we said, it's 5 different episodes, so there's a break in the action each time. And we've over the summer we've gone to several plays with the episodes like this where the stage would go dark and stagehands in Black clothing would scurry around in the darkness and move things around and then the play would go on. And sometimes we went to one recently where that was done 20 times. It's necessary, but it was a big drags out the play. You kind of lose the theme. In this one, it's done so cleverly. The actor never leaves the stage. The stagehand, a lovely dancer, comes and moves a few things around and helps him with a bit of costuming to a little bit of music, while the display of what's behind them changes. It's like you never lose a second's attention. There's no break.
And if I remember, I even think that at some points the dialogue still continues as she is helping him to change into his next costume for the next decade that he's going to be showing. So I just thought that it was just seamless. The transition from 90 years, 87 years, from 1913 to 2010, the transition in both the staging, the set of the stage, and the costuming happened flawlessly and did not in any way interrupt your experience.
Another part to that was the transition is in other plays. I mean, they transition from one episode to the next, and not a lot of signs what's going on. But here they have this conceit of the train. It starts, he's hopped a freight car at the beginning. The minstrel has hopped a freight car, as I did as a kid.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you'd hop on a train. Well, no, there was a train tracks near my house in Crystal, Minnesota, and it was on a curve, and we could hop on it and ride the train for maybe a half a mile and hop off. Hop in the boxcar and hop off. It was fun. We weren't going anywhere. It was just something to do. But that was a way that people, poor people, and probably Black people, got around the country if they couldn't afford a regular ticket. So it starts there, and it takes him to his first scene. And each time there is something about a train that is taking him somewhere. We commented at the time, one of the transitions is a subway train, a New York City subway train,
right?
And the whole background very much like a subway train.
It starts off actually at Chambers Street Station in New York City. I think is it the F? Does the E train go all the way to Chambers Street? I don't remember because I used to live there, and it was a station that my mother got off of to work down in the Wall Street area in the southern tip of Manhattan.
Anyway, so that I mean, there's so many marvelous things about this play, but those two kind of attentions and creative attention to detail that you just kind of are routine business that has to be taken care of. No, let's make it interesting, and they did, and a fascinating play.
Mia didn't talk very much.
Do you have more?
Yeah, I do. Pretty much going to be reiterations of what you guys said. I mean, this play was just magic to watch. J. Alphonse Nicholson deserves every award that he won, every award he's nominated for. This was just a phenomenal performance. He hooked us in from the very first moment that he leapt into that boxcar. I was interested. He engaged with the audience directly, sometimes breaking the fourth wall, which was fantastic, something I'd never seen before. Certainly not something that could be done in a bigger theater, only in the more intimate 99-seat theater setting where you're half a foot from the stage. I did want to mention and note that woman, the dancer, she was actually the universe. She was actually the flow of time. She was time and space. So she was the one pushing time forward and pushing it onto this man, who was this one actor, but in the play, he is this Black man perceiving these different aspects of Black life, which was very fascinating to me. And then at the end, it all comes together for me with the name Freight. And all 5 of these scenes were on a train. And it's just interesting to think about freight, cargo, the weight that the Black man carries in our country specifically, just trying to survive. And one of the themes through the play was these 5 different Black men were all struggling with the same question of the choices that they are forced to make in the life that they are living in a racist country that doesn't think very highly of them, and how that weighs against their morality. And, you know, a lot of the questions that they were asking themselves in the play was, you know, am I going to hell for these choices that I've had to make to try and just survive and live my life? A really powerful play. The set, again, this was a extremely simple set, and they did wonderfully with it. The screens, they made five completely different trains. I believe we were on five completely different trains. The how they showed the passing through time and the years was the clearest the clearest I think we've ever seen. We've been to a couple other plays where we didn't know that we were even time traveling. um, so it was a breath of relief. The woman who played the universe, she was a phenomenal. Like my dad and Sharon said, she didn't speak, but her part was just as powerful in a way. And knowing, you know, I was looking at the playbill and knowing that she was playing this unspeaking force, the eye contact, the little movements that she made, the little looks that she gave this man as he lived these lives was very powerful. And you're left with the the weight of oppression. I think that's something that we've tried to. I don't know if we've tried actively, but we've been seeing more Black themed plays written by Black writers based on Black stories, and you can feel the weight to them. You can feel the heaviness to them. You can feel the burden of just trying to live that these characters have to endure, that I think every Black person globally, certainly, but certainly here in America, has to deal with on a daily basis. It's a beautiful thing to see captured in a respectful way. It's a beautiful thing to see captured and relayed how it is in a play like this, where it's not meant to be like a woe is me type of thing. It's just presented as this is this person's life. Here it is. Look at it, observe it, you know, think about it, and let it weigh on your mind and your soul and your heart. Again, this play is at the Fountain Theater, playing through December 16th. Dad, Sharon, I don't know if you had any last comments here.
I did want to make one last comment on the wealth of talents that J. Alphonse Nicholson has.
Mm.
So his acting chops are really strong, but he also sings. He moves so beautifully that you think, well, maybe he can even dance, and he probably can.
And he's a drummer. I mean, he drums on
Yes.
the drums, but he's actually a percussionist. I mean, he's good at it. It was a delight to go with this play with the two of you.
I think it was 90 minutes long. I wished
Yeah.
that it was double that time. I really did. I did not want it to end. I didn't want it to end.
Yeah, it's
I could have
funny.
stayed for 3 hours.
We've been to a few plays where they're good, and it's nice when they're over. But that one was like, ooh, and it's very, it builds and it's uplifting. It has a wonderful climax that we won't give away. Well, okay. See you guys next time.
Okay, make sure you guys see it. Freight, the five
Let's
incarnations
go.
of Abel Green at the Fountain Theater.